Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien channel. We're doing a live stream here about cryptocurrencies. We'll start off by looking at Bitcoin. Congratulations to those who've been sticking by Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is trading at $87,000, up 2% today. We did see Bitcoin go up to as high as $88,500 earlier on, around like 10 a.m. East Coast time here. And we had a little bit of a liquidity grab, okay? We were expecting Bitcoin to get up to about $88,000, so it did hit our medium-term targets for Bitcoin here. Where could Bitcoin go next? Well, we're looking at the 1 hour chart here, and you know, we do want to see Bitcoin, right, maintain this 250-day moving average, which is this red line here and the green line here. We see that Bitcoin came up to the 21 EMA. Okay, the 21 EMA caught up to Bitcoin, so it is getting some support right now off the 21 EMA on the 1 hour chart here. But where could Bitcoin go next? The next move, I believe, is going to probably be somewhere at this 1618 Fibonacci number here at $90,700 Bitcoin, almost $91,000 Bitcoin could be coming up on deck here. We can also do a bull flag here and try to measure this out. Okay, where we have the pump going up using this yellow line here to as high as about $88,000. Okay, and we might see something like this. We're just hypothetically planning things out here for Bitcoin, where Bitcoin could be basically making a flag here at some point. And if Bitcoin does break out, you know, out of this flag somewhere, then the bull flag is saying that we could see like a $92,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so I believe $90,000 Bitcoin is coming up on deck here for cryptocurrency for Bitcoin. Okay. So that's the bullish target for Bitcoin. But like, what could happen if Bitcoin decides to, I don't know, become bearish for whatever reason? Then we have to zoom out here. I'll go into the 4 hour chart here. I mean, it wouldn't really become bearish. I'm liking the fact that Bitcoin is at $87,000. The 4 hour time frame is saying that the 200 moving average for Bitcoin is currently sitting at $83,800. We could come right back to those levels again here if Bitcoin is unable to sustain this bullish momentum that it's got going on right now. One thing that is concerning, and I'll give it to the bears here, is that we're seeing selling pressure starting to die down already. Okay, on the MACD, you got some light green candles showing up. If this continues, then you might see light green, and then some red start to show up. And that could send us down to lower prices. Let's go on to the daily chart here for Bitcoin. Now, I kind of have to get rid of what I'm looking at here, but you can see here on the daily time frame here that Bitcoin did get up to the 200-day moving average and pretty much got rejected. Okay, we came up a little bit above the 200-day moving average as I clean things up here a little bit. You can see that this candle here, this candle wick got up to like 88,575, and 200-day moving average at $88,200. This red number right here. Okay, so that was the rejection. Doesn't mean that we can't go back up again, but you know, bearishly speaking, if we were to come down to lower prices on Bitcoin, I still believe that, you know, low 80Ks could possibly come into play again here. All right, but I do like the momentum. The momentum says that we're gonna go higher on Bitcoin here. Okay. And just the sentiment around the market, a lot of people are in disbelief right now, or they're just maybe not. They might not be in disbelief, but they're kind of like they're beaten down. Their spirits are broken, and some people just decided to give up on Bitcoin altogether, and it's understandable because it's been a rough past 3 months here for Bitcoin. Right, it was what, 3 months ago we were at all-time highs at $109,000, right? Around January 20th, And here we are 3 months later. People are a little bit broken down. Spirits are broken. Okay. But that's just what Bitcoin and crypto is capable of doing. Okay. Because we've seen this in the past before. Right? Back in the 2021 bull cycle. Guys, put a 1 in the comments if you've been around since 2021 in crypto. But yeah, if you remember in 2021, right, we had that beat down where Bitcoin was at like $60,000 in April of 2021, got as high as like almost $64,000, and they had a rough 3 months, right? Okay, going into May. May was a very vicious month for Bitcoin in 2021. We're just looking at some history just to show you guys that Bitcoin's capable of doing these things. And then there was sideways trading going into June. And it wasn't until like July of 2021 that Bitcoin started catching some bids. And it wasn't until like August of 2021 where Bitcoin got above the 200-day moving average. So we've seen this before with Bitcoin. And this drop right here, this was like a 50% drop. Bitcoin went down to like $29,000, $28,000 after being as high as like $60,000. You guys right now that are in crypto, you're crying over Bitcoin only dropping down about 32%. Okay. 32%, and you guys are saying you can't take it, no mas, right? Now, I believe that the reason why a lot of people are saying no mas is because the altcoins took a bigger beating than 30%. Most of these altcoins are down 50% from their highs that they made in December and January. But nobody told you to go strictly into altcoins. You gotta have a little bit of Bitcoin to balance out your portfolio. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I noticed that, you know, Bitcoin doesn't really go down as much compared to these other cryptos when we're hitting a bear market, a little mini bear market here. And I am going to be calling it a bear market. Yeah, we're in a bear market as long as Bitcoin is more than 20% below its all-time high and is also below the 200-day moving average, which it still is. You know, we kind of showed an inkling of hope where we got above the 200-day moving average, but we still need this. We're in show me territory right now, and I feel like that's a lot of investors are doing right now in cryptocurrency world. They are waiting for Bitcoin to show them something. There's probably people still waiting for Bitcoin to go to $90,000. There's people who are in disbelief that it's not going to go to $90,000, and then when it does, that's when they might feel comfortable about getting back into crypto again. Okay, but for those of us who've been through the cycles before, we know like this is just buying opportunities here. The last month or two has been just one big giant buying opportunity for Bitcoin and crypto. Now let me see if we got any comments here, if anybody has any requests for any particular crypto here. House Cleaners is saying that Paul's going to teach us a big lesson. What kind of lesson is he going to teach us? You say it's a big lesson. Okay, but what kind of, can you elaborate on that for me? I would like to know what you mean by big lesson, because that's pretty ambiguous to say big lesson. So we'll just continue on looking at some other cryptos here. One crypto that has actually been doing pretty well this past weekend was Solana. Okay. Well, I got a lot of lines in the chart here. Maybe I'll show you another chart here that doesn't have as much chart work on it. We'll look at the Solana here on Kraken. Okay. And you can see that Solana is currently trading at $136, down 1% today, but it actually had a pretty good day earlier, just like Bitcoin did, where we saw Solana get as high as about $143. And then it even had a better day, I believe yesterday, when it got as high as about $141 here. But yeah, Solana is currently trying to climb its way back to higher highs here. We want to see it make a higher high than it did on Tuesday, March 25th here, where we saw Solana at $147. It almost did that today, came about $4 shy of that, but we want to see that higher high there, and eventually we want to see Solana make a higher low to let us know that we're in a bull trend here, that we're on an upward trend and going to higher prices here. So it looks like Solana is currently working on doing that, or trying to do that. We'll see how as the next few days and the next couple of weeks go here for Solana. But I do anticipate that Solana will get some resistance here if it does climb up to higher prices past $147, I see the 50-day moving average coming down at $164. That could give us some resistance for Solana. If I go on to the VRVP, you'll see that the VRVP is showing that there is a gap. Once we make it past 147 bucks here on Solana, it could be off to the races, and then we could see $170 in very short order here on Solana. Okay, and then you got another gap here on the VRVP, and it says that the $180, $190 Solana might be next on deck, and that's basically the prices that Solana was trading at during the beginning of February. Okay. So Solana looks like it might be leading the charge for the altcoins here. I know in previous cycles, Ethereum was the one to lead the charge to help the altcoins go to higher prices, but I think in this case it's going to be Solana, because Solana's been outperforming Ethereum, and it's also a higher market cap cryptocurrency. So yeah, I will put my bets here that Solana, if good things start happening for Solana, you'll start seeing that trickle down into the rest of the altcoin space here. We'll take a look at Ethereum as well, but I just wanted to show you guys what Solana is doing. You know, it got above the point of control. Point of control here is sitting at 126 bucks, $126. If Solana does come down, I expected to get more support at the $126 region. Use that as support, bounce off, make a higher low, continue on to actually make higher highs here. Okay, that's my analysis there on Solana. Let's take a look at the Ethereum now, since I mentioned it. You see that Ethereum is currently trading at $1,574, and Ethereum is just treading along here, right at the point of control. This blue line is at 1587. That is the point of control for Ethereum. So Ethereum is just trying to build off an area of support here. Maybe it creates a rounded bottom, and then we could start forming the beginning of a cup and handle pattern at some point. Ethereum could start running up. When it does start running up, it probably will bump its head up against $1,800. Treat that as resistance. Maybe come back here to $1,600 one more time to retest the lows, make a higher low, and then we'll probably see Ethereum try to reach for psychological $2,000 level, and then get some more resistance at $2,200. Okay, but then after that, there's a gap in the VRVP, and it says that, you know, once Ethereum makes it past $2,200, then you're looking at maybe like a $2,600 Ethereum before we get some resistance, and that's the area that some people were buying Ethereum at in middle of February here. After that, I mean, you got another gap which says that Ethereum should come right up to this value area high, this white line, which is sitting at about $3,200. Okay, so there's still a chance that, you know, you could double your money with Ethereum once this thing starts climbing back up to the highs that it made earlier this year. All right. Let's move on to XRP now. And if you guys have any requests, by all means, go ahead and tell me what crypto or stock. We can talk about stocks as well. I know stock market wasn't doing as well as Bitcoin and crypto, but we can talk about stocks as well. But yeah, go ahead and make those requests. Let me know which crypto or stock you want me guys to talk about next here. And I just see one comment here from Mongoose saying, "Is this a rug?" By rug, what do you mean by rug? What's a rug? What do you think's a rug? Do you think the whole market's a rug pull? Please elaborate on that question you got for me. We're taking a look now at XRP Ripple now. $2.07 is what it's currently trading at. And you can see that Ripple here has been range bound using the VRVP. Anytime you buy here in the value area low, this white line at $2, you're probably getting a good deal on Ripple. And we want to see Ripple get up to the point of control here at $2.38. And once it can push past that $2.38 level, then you have a steep decline in the volume here. And I would expect that Ripple would get maybe some more resistance here, like $2.65, which is where the value area high is sitting at. But after that, it keeps on dropping some more, and then the next significant high volume node is at $3.12. $3.12 is my ultimate long-term target on Ripple. Maybe we might see that later on this month or sometime in the summer months here. But yeah, that's probably when I would expect to see a $3 Ripple if it's in the cards for us. All right, let's see. Yeah, Mongoose, just elaborate onto me. What do you mean by rug? You gotta give me more details on your opinion there. But you know, if Ripple for some reason comes down and loses this value area low here at $2, okay, is where that white line is sitting at, then we gotta start putting our bear cap, and we have to become a little bit more bearish on Ripple, right? I mean, Ripple still has been making lower highs and lower lows. We can't actually get bullish on Ripple until we see a higher high. I want to see Ripple get higher than what it did here on March 19th at like $2.60. Okay, if Ripple can get to $2.60, then we can start to be more bullish on Ripple. But if Ripple starts coming down, you know, to lower prices here, right? You know, you got the value area low sitting at $1.74, okay? And then you got some more volume here at like $1.50, $1.45 is where Ripple might go if it continues making lower highs and lower lows and continues onto this bearish trend that it's still in right now. But we'll move on to some other cryptos here. So yeah, my bearish target for Ripple long term is like $1.45. You might get some support at $1.74. My bullish targets for Ripple is getting back to the point of control at $2.40, and then also some high volume here at $2.60, and then the ultimate long-term bullish target is about $3.14 here for Ripple. Moving on to some other cryptos here. We'll take a look at Avalanche, AVAX. Avalanche has made like a double bottom here, and it's just currently trying to build upon a bull trend here. Okay, it looks like it respected the point of control here at $18.69. Okay, that blue line is sitting at that level, and hopefully we can use that as support and go to higher highs. The next thing I want to see on the AVAX chart is to see AVAX get higher than the highs that it made here on March 26th. When we've seen like Avalanche as high as like $23.47. If we can get past that level, then it looks like there's another resistance level at like $25. But then after that, it starts to taper off. The volume starts to die down, and you might see AVAX come right up to like $32 here before it hits a significant area of resistance. And that's about the same level that you can see like right here, $32. This is the level that AVAX was getting some support back in November of 2024, and it has some support at that level in January of 2025, and then we lost that support. So I'm expecting $32 to be a resistance level going forward for AVAX. But if AVAX can get past that level, then we got the value area high saying that AVAX could come up to like $38.92, and that's almost like a double from where you're at right now. You can still possibly double your money with AVAX. House Cleaners is saying Powell won't do anything. You might be right, but he might be forced to actually do something and lower interest rates if unemployment keeps going up. However, the other thing that is going to be a little bit conflicting is if these tariffs come into play and prices go up, while unemployment's going up as well, that might leave him conflicted where he might actually not do anything. Like you say, he might just leave interest rates alone. I think they'll actually try to get rid of their quantitative tightening though. So if they decide to not lower interest rates, they could still go ahead and actually cancel their quantitative tightening and actually maybe even start doing quantitative easing. So I wouldn't really say he's not going to do anything, because I still think they might do something. They might not do what everybody's hoping for, which is lower interest rates. But if unemployment becomes an issue, yeah, they have to address that concern, even if inflation is going up, or else it could get really bad for the employment picture in the United States here. And they did say that they were expecting tariffs to be transitory inflation. So if that's the case, then they shouldn't really be worried about inflation, especially if unemployment's going up. That could cause them to lower interest rates. But if the tariffs if the tariffs become very inflationary, then they might actually have to raise interest rates. So then that could actually, defeat your case about Powell won't do anything. He might actually do something. He might actually raise interest rates. So just be careful with that. I wouldn't really say he won't do anything. They're going to do something. I think they're either going, I think most likely Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is probably going to stop quantitative tightening, because there's already selling pressure in the bond market. They're already selling treasuries as is. And to have the Federal Reserve selling treasuries on top of the regular market participants selling treasuries, it's exacerbating the problem. And one of these banks is probably going to go bankrupt soon if they keep raising interest rates without actually raising interest rates. If they keep selling their treasuries, that's in effect causing interest rates to go up. And I think the Federal Reserve is going to have to stop selling treasuries so they don't make the problem worse. Hey Rich, good to see that you're in the chat. You want me to take a look at pulse chains? I can take a look at pulse chain for you. Sure, I got you. If you give me the ticker symbol, I'm going to try typing it in, but I don't know the ticker symbol off the top of my head. I'm just going to type in pulse chain and see what comes up here. Yeah, pulse. Maybe I'll try pulse USD. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the ticker symbol here because I have to dig for it. I don't have all these cryptocurrencies and stocks right off the top of my head. You said I found it? Is it pulse USD? No, that's pulse. You said pulse chain. Is that it? I'm not. I'm try clicking on it, see what happens here. Does that seem to be the price for pulse chain? Trading at 0.000354 pennies. And you're telling me here that it's hex PLS. So that's what I have right there, hex PLS puppy on pulse chain. I think that's the one you want me to look at. That one's currently trading at 0.007 pennies. I'm just gonna wait for your response here. Let me see if I can pull up on CoinMarketCap. Pulse chain. All right. I'm assuming that's the crypto you want me to look at. Pulse chain by Hex. Currently trading at 0.007 pennies. I'll go ahead and analyze that one for you. All right, so just using the VRVP here for analysis here. Pulse chain by Hex Pulse chain, I believe. Currently trading at 0.007 pennies, up 7.8% today. Yay. Value area low is sitting at 6,369. And the point of control is at 13.013 pennies here. Just the data that I'm looking at, it shows that there's sort of some gaps here in the VRVP, which says that this thing could probably jump up to higher prices when it does start to go on a bull run here. First area of resistance I'm seeing at like 9,045. And then after that, there's a big gap, and then you won't see any more resistance until we get to like basically a penny on this crypto, which is where a lot of people were buying and selling. You got some candle wicks here at 1 penny. So most of the time when this thing was at 1 penny, it was using as support. But since we're below 1 penny now, I believe 1 penny is going to be resistance for this crypto. But once you get past 1 penny, then the point of control says that this thing is probably going to hang out near like 0.013 pennies. And then after that, if you can use that as support and as a springboard, you can probably go up to higher prices, and then you probably won't get any resistance until you get to the value area high, currently sitting at 2 pennies. So that's pretty much, you know, this is all like psychological numbers here. People are probably gonna sell their pulse chain coin at about a penny, but the real resistance is going to be at like 0.013 pennies. But then most people are probably going to be selling this pulse chain coin at around 2 cents. And by that point, you basically double your money from where you are right now. Now, bearish speaking wise here, okay, if this thing does come down, it might come down to the value area low, which is currently sitting at 62.86. Okay, so that might be an area where if you're not a bear and you're still bullish on this coin, you could probably scoop up some cheap pulse chain coin at that price. But yeah, I do see that we have some candlewick lows here with this thing got as low as 4,079 and 4,160. I would probably put my stop loss at like 4,000, because if this thing is just making another lower high, you probably do not want to stick around for it to make a lower low. Okay, so I probably put the stop loss right at like 4,000. I mean, if you put the stop loss at 4,000 and this thing does go down to 4,000, you're basically gonna lose half of your money if you do get stopped out. But I mean, you gotta draw a line in the sand somewhere as to like how much losses are you gonna take on this crypto before you you know, try to preserve your capital here. So you're asking me if I own it? I don't own it. Yeah, I don't own that coin. Some coins that I do own is like, I'm big on Solana. I'm big on Bitcoin. Okay. I got a good bag of Sui. I got some Render. And a few other coins. But, oh yeah, I got some XRP too. Some Ripple. But yeah, I used to be a big Ethereum trader. I used to be big on Ethereum back in like 2021. But Ethereum has too much competition now, and they're not able to keep up with the competition, so I'm not really big on Ethereum. I sold my last bag of Ethereum around like September, October of last year. Oh, that's good to know. You're saying that Pulse Chain is your lottery ticket. Alright. Let me see if I got any comments here from my TikTok guys. White Rock. Chucky said White Rock. Could you tell me what the ticker is for White Rock? I don't know if that's a crypto. It might be a stock, but I can just type in White Rock and see what comes up. Yeah, let me, it's a crypto? White? Okay. Let me type in White USD and see what comes up here. White Rock Finance. Looks like it's trading on Mexi Exchange. Okay. All right, so looking at White Rock Finance, currently trading at 0.00083 pennies, up 75% today. Wow, you got a big giant green candle here. Congratulations. If you bought before you know, earlier today. Wow, this thing is actually making some higher lows. Let me get rid of the VRVP so people can see like what this thing has done. This is, and it looks like I've already looked at this. Have you requested this from me before? Because I looks like I've done some chart work on this already, but it's not really ringing any bells here. It's making higher lows. You got lows here back in like February of this year, where this thing was trading at 0.0001 pennies, and we had like a little bit of a rise here. Got almost as high as like 0.0017 pennies. Okay, so not even 1 penny yet. But this is just eyeballing it, just looking at the chart nakedly with no indicators here. You got obviously a higher low here. Now you got some lower highs here. Okay, I want to see this thing try to beat the high that it made back on April 2nd. When it got as high as like 0.0097 pennies, so like basically 97.87. That'll probably be the resistance level. Now if I turn on the VRVP, I'm pretty sure the VRVP might be saying the same thing here. Actually no, the VRVP is showing that with all this data, the value area high is at 65.59. So this thing is extremely bullish. Might actually be time to sell. Okay, if you're short-term day trading this. Okay. But if you're not short-term day trading it and you're trying to buy back in again, maybe you can try to see if like it comes back to this white line, the value area high at 65.59. I start putting in some buy orders in there, see if it respects that level. Okay, and then that could just be a higher low before it goes up and makes a higher high again. Okay, but actually we want to see this make a higher high. It's not even making a higher high yet. We want to see the higher high. This thing has to get up to like 97.87, or basically 0.001 pennies. If it can do that, then I would feel even more confident in this crypto. But this thing is not too bad, not too shabby. If you're day trading it, you can probably put a stop loss right below the candle wick on this green candle here, below 4,500. But wow, yeah, this thing has made a monster move already. Let's see what the 1 hour chart looks like here. And I want to pull up some indicators here. Yeah, so the RSI on this puppy right here, it's getting overbought on the 1 hour time frame. So I would expect either sideways price action, or maybe this thing comes back down again. Also, the white line, the 21 EMA, is going to probably be the first line to try to catch up to where the price is right now. And that just leads me to believe that this thing could possibly come down to meet up with the white line here. But the white line is going to try to play catch up. So there might be, it might come down to like 6,000. Okay. But yeah, this thing is overheated on the RSI. Sarcastic RSI is also showing that's pretty high as well. Let's take a look at the MACD here real quick if I can. I gotta zoom in. This is so ridiculous. Okay, so you got some green candles showing up on the MACD. I'd be very wary. Alright, once you start seeing light green showing up, which means that you still have buying pressure, but it's not as high as the previous candles here, that probably leads me to believe that this thing is going to start, you know, selling off when you see light green candle show up. Light green hasn't showed up yet, but remember, this is the 1 hour time frame, so you got to pay attention. Every hour this thing can change on you. Yeah, once this thing starts showing light green, that's probably like the top. And if you're day trading it, I would sell it. Sell that top as best as I can. I'd probably sell it right now, to be honest with you. I'm not even in it, and I would be trying to sell this thing. Up 75% in 1 day? Are you kidding me? That's a good amount of money to make in 1 day. Let's look at the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is also overheated as well. at like 86 on the RSI. Anything above 70 on the RSI is considered overheated, overbought. So yeah, you're overbought on the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame. And I don't see any light green candles yet on the MACD either. And let's just take a look at the 12-hour. Yeah, I mean, that's good. It's good. The 12-hour is just now becoming overbought at like 71 on the RSI. But yeah, game planning this thing out. The move has been made already. I think just looking at the VRVP, if I turn on the VRVP real quick, if it comes down to the value area high, I would try to scoop up some more at like 6,500. And I'd probably put the stop loss right at like 4,400. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Chucky. Haha. Like I see. You want me to see me? You want to see me trade this cryptocurrency? Trade it live. I usually do day trading with like just Bitcoin and Ethereum because there's a lot of volume with those coins, and you know, these old coins. I mean, if you use any sort of leverage, you can wipe your account out real quick. You don't really need to use leverage when you're doing old coin trading. Maybe like 2x leverage at the most. Rich, you think I should go buy a spot bag on White Rock here? White Rock does look pretty promising. I do like the way the chart looks, but I just feel like the move has already been made on this crypto here. Let's take a look at another crypto that has some potential here. Look at Aptos. One that has potential, but the moves hasn't been made yet. Looking at Aptos right now, you can see that Aptos is looking at the VRVP, and we're using 12-hour time frame here. It got rejected off of this value area low. Okay, and we bottom out here. It looks like around April 6th. And we did make a higher high than compared to right over here on April 12th. April 12th we got to like $5.20 here, and then yesterday, April 20th, we got as high as $5.25. So technically higher high, about 5 cents higher. That is good to see. I want to see this thing continue on and see if it can contend and beat out the resistance here at like $5.30. But yeah, $5.30, $5.38 could be the resistance, the near-term resistance for Aptos. And then after that, you have a little bit of gap, and then you got some more resistance at $5.50, and then you got another significant gap here, and then you could see maybe like $5.90 here on Aptos as it continues climbing higher. And the point of control is the most likely area that it will try to climb back up to. And that's about $6.15 here on Aptos. And what? That's about another 18-20% gain from where you are right now. And then after that, you got the value area high sitting at about $6.50 on Aptos. Now I'm just zooming out here some more. You know, you might be saying, well, Dane, why are you getting excited about a crypto that's at $5 and could go up to $6? Well, because there's another very significant gap here in the VRVP. And then this crypto could then try to climb back up to like $8. Okay? Before it finally gets another significant area of resistance. And now you're talking about, what? A 60% gain on Aptos? And that's just getting started here, because then after the VRVP shows a gap here, you got some more high volume nodes here at $9. And then another gap here, and now we're talking like maybe $10 on Aptos. And now you got yourself a double, a potential double with Aptos here. But I feel like a lot of these cryptocurrencies can double in price from where they are right now. So Aptos wouldn't be the first one. But I do like Aptos. I like the project for Aptos. I like the fact that they're just as fast, if not probably faster than Solana, and they're probably neck and neck with Sui. So this is a project here that not too many people know about, but has a lot of potential to at least make you some money in the next few weeks and months to come. I feel like Aptos has bottomed out here, because I mean, anytime Aptos has been at like $5 or $6, that's usually been the bottom. Like it was at this level back in August of 2024. It was at this level in October of 2023, and you know, here in like March of 2024, we saw like an $18 Aptos. Now the only thing is worrying is that this high was higher than the next high here. Okay, so that's a lower high. Could that be a trend? Are we never gonna see a $14, $15 Aptos or even an $18 Aptos? I don't know. Maybe. All right, let's see. Chucky's in here talking about the tech is crypto to buy stocks. And then I got another request here. What do I think about WLD coin? And then is Webull Pay a good day trade account? I wouldn't know because I don't use Webull. Maybe somebody else in the comments could tell you that. Do I trade gold? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I trade gold. It's good to be owning gold though. You should have some gold or silver coins, in my opinion. And then you don't trade those. You just hold on to that and let it appreciate in value over time. But I have trade gold futures, yeah. WLD and then fetch. Okay, I guess we'll look at WLD and fetch. WorldCoin. Oh, this thing has been dropping in price. There's got to be a better exchange for that one. Let me see. WorldCoin on Binance, maybe some better looking chart. Rich, I'm trying to do my best here, looking at YouTube and my TikTok streamers here. And I'll read your comment here. You're saying that Pulsecoin is a fork of ETH. The founder is a billionaire and likes to buy and pump his own coins. The recent little pumps were him buying. The SEC has a case against Pulsechain founder that got dismissed, and today was the final day the SEC could have appealed, and they did not. Pulsechain will pump now because of this. Go get you some. Oh, okay. I'll take a look at Pulsechain on my own time. Appreciate the update on the news there. All right, but going back here to WorldCoin, we're looking at WLD USD currently trading at 76 cents, down 1.5% today. Let me go into the daily chart here. Yeah, this thing is in a brutal downtrend here. I have looked at this coin before, and I thought this was a falling wedge here. And usually falling wedges, they break out to the upside, and we were expecting this to break out and go to $4.82. But falling wedges, they only break out to the upside 70% of the time, but 30% of the time they can break down. And it looks like we got the 30% where it actually went down instead of going up. So here we are with WorldCoin now, currently sitting at 76 cents. Could this be the bottom for WorldCoin? I'm just getting familiar with the chart, even though I have done previous chart work on this before. And I'm just giving the VRP a chance to update itself. And it looks like value area low is now sitting at 57 cents. If this coin gets rejected off the point of control, comes down to 57 cents, this might be a good area to buy and try to scoop up some cheap WorldCoin. See if it makes a double or triple bottom here at like 58, 59 cents. And then you can probably put the stop loss real tight and put it at like maybe like 50 cents for your stop loss. Because if this thing continues going below 59 cents, then it probably means that we're going to continue the downtrend here and go to lower prices. So keep your stop loss tight, right? Keep it at like 50 cents. But if WorldCoin is going to go up to higher prices here, I want to see it try to beat out this last high that it made here at like 96, 98 cents. And if it does, then that would create a higher high. And then you know that you're in a beginning of the bull trend here. And then you want to see a high low be formed. So just game planning this out, right? You want to see this thing come up, probably get as high as like $1 before coming back down again, making that higher high, and then maybe get some support on the point of control, make a higher low, and then continue going up to higher prices. And it might get up to like $1.23 before it gets another high volume node where you might get some resistance. Because anybody that bought over here in February, they might decide that they want to just break even and get out. So I think $1.20 would be your near-term take profit target, because you probably won't be the only person that will be selling at that price. All right, but yeah, if you start seeing this on WorldCoin, then you know that you're in a bull trend here, an uptrend, and you can just ride this puppy up to higher prices. Now, once you get past $1.21, you got a gap here in the VRVP, and then the value area high is probably the next significant high volume node, and that's sitting at $2.13. $2.13, and that you basically have a 3x on this crypto. So that looks good to me. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at Fetch AI after this, and then let's see, I got some more requests here. Mario said Ethereum. We did talk about Ethereum earlier today. Mario saying Ethereum chain, that's why. And then you want me to check out Tars AI? Okay. We'll do that after Fetch. I guess we'll start looking at some of these AI coins now. Let's look at Fetch. All right, so here we have Fetch coin currently trading at 61 cents, up 2% today. I know that the AI coins had a pretty good weekend this past weekend. That leads me to believe that smart money is trying to buy the lows here on these cryptos. I'm not sure if that means retail is getting back in, but I wouldn't be surprised if retail starts getting in once they see these AI coins go up to higher prices here. Now, looking at Fetch AI, you can see I have some previous chart work. This thing was in a descending channel for the longest time here. Looks like it got out of that descending channel on February 13th, but it then continued making lower lows even though it got out that descending channel. But I'll go ahead and get rid of that now, so it's no longer, we know how that played out. And you are looking at Fetch AI having a value area low right now, currently sitting at 34 cents. If this thing comes down to 34 cents, I mean, you're going to be losing about 50% of your investment if you're in it. But if the thing does come down to 34 cents, I feel like that's a very strong support area now. But it might not actually come down that low, because you have now the high volume area, the point of control, is sitting at 50 cents. So that's probably where this thing might come down, make a higher low at that point, and then try to reach and go up to higher prices for a higher high. Okay, I want to see it beat out this high here that it made on March 2nd at like 77 cents here. And you got the VRVP saying that there's a high volume node at 77 cents. So yeah, we'll see if this thing can make its way up to like 77 cents, which is still about like a 20% gain from where it is right now. And then after 77 cents, you got a steep gap here, and you got a little bit of resistance, maybe at like 97 cents, and some more resistance at $1.02. But there's not really that much volume here until you get up to like basically the value area high at $1.32. And then you got yourself basically a double in price. You could 2x your money with this crypto. But don't get too excited, because I feel like a lot of these altcoins could double in price, but this is just another one. Just looking at the VRVP that can actually do that. And it looks like I even got some more previous chart work here with the Fibonacci levels here. Looks like 0.236 level is where we want to see this thing climb back up to. The $1.23 level is going to be probably the first area of resistance. And then after you get past that $1.23 level, then maybe we can start talking about $1.66 or even $2 for Fetch AI. And at $2, that's what, a quadruple in price? And I think that would probably be a good price to be selling if you've been buying at these lows here. All right, moving on to was it Lars? I'm trying, I guess TARS AI. Okay, yep. And yeah, Fetch AI. I was in Fetch AI myself, but then I got out of it, especially after the drop in prices we had in January and February. And then my thoughts on XRP. We already talked about XRP, but I guess I can look back at it again, and I'll look back at Bitcoin before the end of the stream here. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at TARS AI. I haven't talked about that one yet. Appreciate the request. Oh, it doesn't like that. Let's see. TARS Tether. Okay, TARS currently trading at just under 4 pennies here. 0.039 pennies. Wow, this one's been in a downtrend as well. Just looking at the data going back to like June of 2024, it's telling us that the point of control is at 11 cents and the value area low is at 9, almost 10 pennies. So there's a lot of room to run if this thing does decide to go up to higher prices here. We're currently sitting at like about almost 4 pennies. Let me zoom in here. Yeah. Let's see, yep. Okay, yeah. Now my VRVP just reset on itself. Looks like your first take profit on this, or your first resistance level, is going to be about 5.5 pennies. With the value area high now showing 5.5 pennies. But let's go into some of these other indicators here to see if this thing has any bullish divergence. Trying to look at the RSI right now. You got a low here at 22.36, and then another low here at 25.32. I mean, the downtrend is still here. It looks like it's still strong as well. But I think you have an inkling of bullish divergence here. Okay, you got your low here and then a higher low here. The low was around like on the RSI April 8th, and then the higher low came in at April 18th. Even though prices are still trending downward here. So this thing could be finding some buyers showing up to the plate and actually defending these levels here. Let's look at the MACD, see if there's anybody showing up on the MACD for buyers. I want to see some green candles start showing up, to be honest, as I start zooming in here. Hey, I think I see some green candles. Ah, okay. So, you have prices coming down. We know that already, right? You have RSI showing that it's coming up, showing that somebody is trying to buy TARS AI. And then you got the MACD is showing that, hey, buyers are stepping up to the plate right here at these prices. So, we could be bottoming out here on TARS. Okay. But then as we start to bottom out here, you want to see some more confirmation before you get too excited here. You want to see either a higher low, which would be preferable, or maybe a double bottom or same low. So, you know, you want to see, ideally you want to see this thing go up to higher prices, come down, make a higher low, and then go up from there. Okay, that would be ideal situation on TARS. Okay, that's how you know you're in an uptrend. But this thing could, you know, come up a little bit, then come down, come all the way back down to like 2.5 cents, which is the same price that it was at back in April 17th here. Respect that level, create a double bottom, and then go up to higher prices. Okay. So you want to see your confirmation signals here. You want to see either a double bottom or even a higher low before this thing goes up to higher prices, and then you can add to your position. But you're just in the beginning of possibly bottoming out here on TARS. You know, we could always come down and make lower lows here, and then this, you know, bullish divergence just might get invalidated, and you gotta start all over again. Okay, but you know, you could put a stop loss, you know, right below, probably at like maybe 0.002 pennies, and strategically plan that, you know, if this thing loses, you know, basically 2 pennies, then you probably want nothing to do with it, because it probably wants to go to lower prices. And if you want to stick around for that, by all means. But I would probably cut my losses and, yeah, try to look for those confirmation signals. All right. So yeah, we did WorldCoin, and we just did Fetch AI and TARS AI, and my buddy here, Emlon, wanted us to look at XRP. We can look at XRP one more time. And then I got Cool Devil here saying render. And then you got a question here, what are the best 3 AI coins? You know, that's an opinionated question there. But I would stick to high market cap AI coins. Ones that have been around for a while, ones that have a use case. I probably would look at render, which is what we're going to look at next. I think Fetch AI is also a good one, and AIOZ is another good one. Okay, Virtuals is another good AI cryptocurrency. Might want to look at Virtual Protocol. But yeah, I would, you know, the higher the market cap, the better. If you go into like CoinMarketCap, I'll just look at CoinMarketCap real quick here. You go into CoinMarketCap.com, and then I think they have like this thing called categories. And then in the categories, you can look at AI coins. You click on AI right here. When that loads up, and then you can see like some of the high market cap cryptocurrencies that are AI related. And you got like Near Protocol, Bincer or Tau, Internet Computer, Render, Filecoin is considered one. Then you got Fetch AI, or they call it Artificial Super Intelligence now. And then Dexy, Story. I mean, you got, these are the ones I would start looking at if I'm going to be playing an AI crypto. You know, there's a bunch of AI cryptocurrencies, right? But I would probably stick with some of the top 10 over here until you know, know what you're doing and you've done your research. But yeah, let's look at the render. Okay, I actually do own some render myself. Just get that disclaimer out there. But it means I have some belief and some conviction in it. Render is currently trading at $4.35 right now. And oh wow, actually I said I was going to talk about XRP. Well, we're on render right now, but I will talk about XRP after this one. Okay, I promise. Stay with me for a minute here. Okay, so render, right? Looks like it was creating a double bottom here, where we bottom out at like 251 on March 11th, and then we had another bottom here at like 250 on April 7th. My stop loss almost got triggered on render, but it didn't hit. And then after that, it's been up ever since then. Okay. Yeah, I count this as a double bottom for render, and if that double bottom plays out, you just measure from where the bottoms are at to the top in between the two bottoms, and then you take that measure move and you put it to like where on top of the top in between the two bottoms, and it's saying that render should have a short-term price target of about $5.69, which is kind of corresponding to like where the 200-day moving average, this red line, is at. So 200 moving average is at $5.65, so I would probably view that as my first take profit target on render. If render does come down, I would like to see it try to get some support on the 21 EMA, which is starting to curve up, so that's looking good too. $3.60 is where you could possibly get some cheap render. But if we lose that $3.60 level, then, you know, we might come down to like 280 or 250. And if we lose that, then render is still in the downtrend, and, you know, unfortunately, you're gonna have to revisit the trade at lower prices. But yeah, that's my analysis there on render going forward. I think $5.65 should be the first take profit target. And then we'll see if render can get up to higher prices, which it did back in like what, December, when it was at like 10 bucks. So this thing could possibly double in price if it can just get back to where it was in December. All right, moving on to XRP. We'll take a look at that one more time there for you. XRP currently trading at $2.07. And XRP, just looking at the moving averages here, it looks like it defended the 200-day. It actually kind of threatened to lose it here on the first week of April here. But it's still trying to stay above it. 200-day moving average is sitting at $1.94. If we lose the $1.94 area, I would start to be concerned and start to become more bearish on XRP. And then I would probably look to see if like XRP is going to try to defend this you know, action, sideways trading action that it had at like $1.44, $1.45. Could be the bearish price target for XRP, right? But if XRP is actually going to be bullish, then I do expect XRP to try to get above where it was at on March 19th, when we saw XRP get as high as like $2.59 here. That would be a higher high for the first time here. You also got some resistance coming from the 50 and the 100 moving average, sitting at like 246 and 238. I think those might be some take profit areas if you're short-term day trading XRP. Expect some resistance at that level. But once we get past 250 on XRP, then I'm expecting $3 to come up in short order here. Okay, because XRP can do that real quick, right? If I turn on the VRVP real quick here, you'll see that, you know, there's not that much volume. There's a very steep drop in the volume here once we get past $2.45. Okay, and then you don't get a significant resistance until you get to like this white line here at $3.08, which is the value area high. And then you also got another high volume showing at like $3.12 for Ripple. So I think $3.12 is your ultimate take profit target for Ripple later on this year. I got Jordan here giving me a lot of messages right now. Let's see what Jordan has to say. You want me to look at DNT? And you want me to look at the weekly and the monthly? You're targeting 45 cents and $1. Okay. Let's take a look at DNT. I think this might be my last request, and then I'm gonna look at Bitcoin one more time, and then that's gonna be it for this live stream here, guys. Let's see, DNT on Coinbase. We'll zoom out to the monthly chart. Oh my god, this thing has seen better days. Back in like 2022, this crypto started trading on Coinbase in 2022. November of 2021. Got as high as like 26 cents. Right now you're at 2 cents. So if we can get back to where we were in 2021, this thing could be a 10x. You said you're targeting 45 cents to $1? I don't know. That's a tall order, to be honest. Because this thing hasn't been higher than 26 cents on Coinbase exchange. Let me see. Is there another crypto exchange where this thing was at higher prices? Maybe we can try looking at CoinEx. Yeah, there's not even less data. DNT, USDT. Let's see if that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go back to Coinbase here. So I feel like that's highly doubtful that this thing will go up to past 26 cents. Because it's got a lot of work to do. Okay. Even 45 cents to $1 is you're asking for a lot here. Okay. But right now this thing is currently at near the point of control. Point of control is at 0.028 pennies. Okay. But if this thing can start pumping up, right? It looks like it has potential to pump up because there's a drop in the volume here. You got some resistance maybe at 4 cents. Maybe some more resistance at like 5 cents. But you got the value area high and a steep drop in the VRVP. And this thing could hang out at like 7 cents. That should be your take profit target, I would say, for 2025. Reasonably speaking, this thing could go up to like 7 cents, and that's a 3x from where you are right now. But you're asking me, could this thing go up to 45 cents to $1? Oh my, I don't know. I mean, the last time it is seen anything close to that was like, we came out to like 19 cents on March of 2024, which was like a very big altcoin season. A lot of these altcoins though, that was the high watermark that they made in the last 3 to 4 years. And I don't know if it can do that. You're gonna need a lot more money going into crypto space for that to happen. And we'll look at the monthly chart. I'll take a look at the weekly chart real quick. This is what the weekly chart looks like, okay? You know, just falling wedges here, which didn't really break out. You went sideways, then you pumped up again after Donald Trump got elected. You had your high here of like 8 cents in first week of December of 2024. And then it's just been down and to the right, lower highs, lower lows on the weekly time frame here. Not good, not good. You want to be making higher lows and higher highs, and this thing is just making lower lows on the price here. Maybe you might get what you got here back in 2024, and this thing pumps up at some point. And if it does, like I said, I think 5 to 6 cents, the value area high, is a reasonable target. And then I think I said 7 cents also showed up as another target as well. I'm sorry there, buddy. I can't really be that bullish on this thing. Not the way that you want me to. I would have to be lying to you if I say it's going to go to 45 cents to $1. You want me to look at the all-time crypto chart, not Coinbase? All right, let's see DNT. I mean, DNT. What is it? District 2X. District 2X. I'm trying to see if I can find this all-time chart that you're talking about here. Do you see anything that pops out? I'm trying to see what this all-time, all the addresses that hold it. No, that's not what you're looking for. Take a look at this. What? Okay. Is this what you were like hoping for? District 10. I'm sorry, District 2X or whatever, 2 with a 0 in it. Looks like April 2021 this thing was high as like 51 cents. Okay. All right, let's pull up the VRVP. We'll see what it has to say now. I can't even get the VRVP to show up on this. It's not giving me that option. All right. Well, now that I got a little bit more data, I can see why you might be a little bit more excited about this thing going up to 50 cents. But I mean, if you look at the overall picture here, like this thing has not. Well, first of all, hasn't been up at 30 cents since like April and May of 2021. Then it just made lower highs here, another lower high, another lower high. Then it made a higher high in March of 2024, but that's been it. Lower highs, and now lower highs and lower lows. I mean, the overall trend is not good. Okay, I'm trying to I could draw it out like that. You got that high in 2024. So, to be honest with you, my friend, like everybody that bought here in 2021, if they haven't sold yet, okay, if this thing does go to 30 cents, they're going to want to sell just to break even, okay? Then you got the people here that bought near the tops here like 20 cents, and even the person or individual that bought here in March of 2024 at like 19 cents, 20 cents, that's going to be significant resistance. They're going to want to sell just to break even. So 20 cents is going to be significant resistance, and 30 cents is going to be significant resistance before you can even start talking about 40 or 50 cents. All right. I think that's enough there for District 10X. I can't. Realistically speaking, I think 20 cents should be your target. Most likely 7 cents is probably going to be the target that hits later on this year if this thing becomes bullish. But yeah, 20 cents is the realistic target. That's what I would bank on. All right. And then 20 cents is still a 10x from where it is right now, so you're doing fine if that's the case. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin, and then we're gonna end it on Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently trading at $87,322. I'll give you like a little synopsis of my analysis that I did earlier today. So let's go into the daily chart for Bitcoin. I want to see Bitcoin retest that 200-day moving average. We got a little bit above it earlier today. It was looking good, but we got rejected off the 200-day moving average. We want to get above the 200-day moving average, currently sitting at $88,224. That's my near-term target on Bitcoin. Then after that, I'm expecting some resistance from the 50-day moving average, which is currently coming down, but sitting at $90,890. Just call it 91K. I can see anywhere between 88 to 91K to be the next order of business for Bitcoin if we're going to continue being bullish here. And if we are going to come down here on Bitcoin, you know, we could catch some support off the white line here, which is starting to curve up. So that's good to see. That white line is a 21 EMA sitting at $83,100. That might be the near-term bearish target for Bitcoin if it does come down. If you lose $83,000, then, you know, 79K still comes into play here. And then, of course, the double bottoms that we made here at like 74K could be like, you know, for those who wish they could have got Bitcoin at that area, you might get a chance. But we have to lose 83K first in order for us to see those lower prices. Okay, that's the synopsis, the summary of my my analysis here on Bitcoin. And anything further, I mean, I could do a deep dive and we could go into like all the time frames here, but I think that's a good analysis here. You want to see Bitcoin continue up and reclaim $88,000 again here and stay above the 200-day moving average. And once it does that, that's going to trigger some trading bots, some professional traders that will say, hey, Bitcoin's above its 200-day moving average. We can be back to being bullish again on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin stays below that red line, that 200-day moving average, then, you know, then the trading bots aren't going to trigger, and people who have their rules and stick to their rules are going to say, hey, it's below 200-day moving average. I can't buy Bitcoin until it gets above that. So we want to see that going forward here. And then after that, then we might be seeing 90K Bitcoin. And then, of course, after 90K Bitcoin, we're looking at the ultimate take profit target of like $96,000 Bitcoin, which is where Bitcoin traded at for the most part back in February and January and December of the last few months here. And, you know, just as confirmation, so you don't think I'm pulling this out of my ass, right? The VRVP is saying that the point of control for Bitcoin is at 96K. You got a lot of volume here, okay? A lot of people that bought Bitcoin at 96K, they want to sell, but they don't want to lose money on Bitcoin. So they're waiting until they get to 96K, and then they can say that they broke even on Bitcoin, and they can pack it up and go somewhere else. Okay, if they're not, you know, long-term bullish on Bitcoin. But yeah, I do see a gap here on the VRVP. And once we get past that 90K, I mean, we could come up to 93, 94, 96K in short order and surprise a lot of people out there. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Appreciate you coming out to the live stream here. Love Guru's telling me that sound looks terrible. I wish you showed up earlier in the stream to tell me that. I don't know why it sounds terrible. I haven't had anybody else make any complaints about the noise. It might be something on your end, but I'll listen to my stream later on to see if I hear any sound issues. Appreciate you bringing it to my attention though. And now I got Rich saying that the sound seems fine. Okay. But Rich, you did ask me. I'm assuming you asked me about Bitcoin. Is it in an uptrend? We can't really say Bitcoin is in an uptrend until we get past the highs, the last high that it made on the daily chart. And it looks like the last high was actually $88,804. And today we only got up to 88,575, so about a couple of $100 short. All right, we want to see Bitcoin get up to $88,805 if you want to be exact, at least on Coinbase exchange. And then you know for sure that we're in an uptrend, because that counts as a higher high than what we did here on March 24th here. All right. And then we want to see a higher low be made at some point here, maybe near the point of control at 83K. If we come down to 83K and bounce off, then that could be the higher low. That could justify that we're in an uptrend. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming out to the live stream. Be on the lookout for my next live stream, probably around the same time tomorrow, about like 5-6 p.m. East Coast time here. And then yeah, we'll just take a look at the charts one more time and look at your cryptos again. Take care, guys.